Blake Yount here for another episode of the Team Black and Gold show. I am Blake Yount with Team Black and Gold of EXP Realty NWA Branch, and you can check out all the contact info right here on the screen because I don't have it memorized and I don't want to look down on it because that would look bad. My wife Ashley is here with me. She might not be on camera, but if I say something ridiculous, I'm sure she'll yell it in and correct me right away. She's great for that. She is also part of Team Black and Gold. And if you want somebody that's pleasant and wonderful to work with, you call her at 479-325-9348. I do have that memorized. Myself, I am an executive broker. My phone number is 479-363-4331. If you ever want to talk to me or ask questions about real estate, I'd be happy to visit with you on that. But today I wanted to cover something I get asked all the time. I'm always surprised that people will call and ask, hey, I might be looking at buying something. Can you help me? What do you do? What does it look like? How does this whole thing work? So when people start getting interested in buying or selling property, they might know an agent, but they're not quite sure how it works or where we fit in. And the quickest answer is a good agent fits in from the very beginning to the very end. It's kind of our job to lay things out for you, try to turn on the lights to the open house before we go through it, so to speak. So I just kind of wanted to lay out, I wrote down 10 things, 10 steps sort of. There's way more to it within each one of these, but I could ramble on and on forever and ever. That's a big problem of mine, especially when I'm in a room by myself with my thoughts in a camera. So these 10 things are just meant to kind of keep me on track. But before we get started, I do want to ask you to please, if you're looking to buy or sell a house and you need an agent, please reach out to Ashley or I. We would love to help you. Or if you're not looking for a house, but you hear your friends or family are maybe looking, or somebody that you love might be looking for a house to buy or trying to sell their home, please send them a referral. We'll treat them very, very well. We'll roll out the red carpet. Or if you already have somebody, an agent that you refer your friends and family and loved ones to, please refer us to your hated ones. We'll take great care of your enemies too. So, all right, with that, let's get started on what a buyer's agent can do for you if you happen to be in the market or maybe sometime in the next year or so. First thing you want to get out of the way is what type of real estate are you looking for? Residential home, land maybe. Are you looking for a farm, like chicken operation or something like that? Some kind of commercial building? A lot of agents can do all of that. Ashley and I, our wheelhouse is kind of residential or land. We're very experienced in that. We can do commercial. We've got some commercial under our belt. But depending on what you're looking for, after talking to you, we can tell you there might be somebody better suited because there are certainly agents that specialize in those kinds of things. So you want to kind of make sure that the agent that you're talking to is either competent in the field that you're looking for, whatever kind of property it is, and then that way you can make sure they're kind of best suited to help you, because it might be your best friend, might even be your own mom, but if he or she doesn't know what's going on for the type of property that you're looking for, they might struggle through helping you. But at the very least, they need to be honest with you and say, yes, I can do that. I don't have that much experience, so if you don't mind me kind of figuring out as I go, I promise to be diligent and work hard for you. And if I don't know the answer, I will ask somebody that does, and you will get the world-class advice and service that you deserve. So getting the type of real estate out of the way is kind of the first thing in the conversation. What are you looking for and what do you want to do? But the first thing that a buyer's agent can help you do is understand if you are working with the right person or asking the right person the questions that you need to ask. So that's number one. Number two, if you haven't bought a home in the last year, since August of last year, things have changed on the documentation side of things. We get a lot of things talked about and cleared up front. This is mandatory now. Some of us were doing it before the changes took effect, but some things did change, so we need to be experts on the documents. There are a lot of documents in a real estate transaction when done correctly. Not just the purchase offer. We have inspection documents, you have agency documents, you have disclosures, you have all kinds of things, addendums that can come up, closing date modifications. Everything has a piece of paper to it And a good buyer's agent may not have worked through it all the way on every single document, but they're going to read that thing, and if they don't understand something, they're going to ask their broker. Maybe they have an attorney friend that can help them interpret a few things like that. We are licensed to fill in the blanks for you, but as part of our obligation to you to be the best that we can be, we need to have a great understanding of these documents. So if you're just getting started, one thing that I will tell you is you will talk to agent after agent after agent, and every single one of them will tell you, before I can get to work for you, we need to go over agency representation, and we need you to sign a representation agreement. They're more than likely not trying to get you tied up in anything. Those are the actual rules, and if you call Ashley or I, we will walk you through that as much detail as you want on that, so that you understand what's going on, or as little detail, whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. But we will at least go over the basics with you like we are required to do, so that you understand what you're getting into when you hire a buyer's agent to help you out. So that is the second thing. Be an expert on documents, help you understand at every stage of the way what those documents mean, what they say, what you're signing. That is number 2. Number 3, your criteria versus the market reality. How many times have I had somebody come to me and say, I need a 4-bedroom house on at least 3 acres. It needs to be pretty new. I don't want to do a lot of work. And our budget is probably somewhere around $200,000. Well, if you're looking for something new and sprawling out on acreage, it's not going to need any work, and your budget's around $200,000. My job is to tell you that your criteria doesn't really match what's going to be available on the market. Could we find you something on 3 or 4 acres in that budget? Probably. It's going to be a little further out. It might need some work. It might be a manufactured home, things like that. Whatever criteria you have has to match the budget and the reality of what's out there for sale. And that is really hard. I know that we're all experts on Zillow. We're looking at things all the time, but it is very difficult if you're not in it to really understand what you can do, where it's going to be, all that. A good buyer's agent is going to understand, especially in Northwest Arkansas, where we kind of have a sprawl of 4 counties, and most people are willing to maybe look at 2 or 3, living in 2 or 3 of those counties, maybe the outskirts of the 4th. A good agent in this market is going to have a pretty good handle, or know where to find the information when you come to them and say, I'm looking for this is our budget. And that agent should be able to say, well, we might be able to find that way over here if you're willing to go out there, or maybe we can refine your criteria a bit so that we can fit it inside of that budget, because a lot of times there's really great things out there that you're not considering, because maybe it happened to us. Maybe you're looking for too much square footage, and if you just reduce it by 50 square feet in your searches, a whole world's going to open to you that you're like, oh wow, I found the perfect one right there. In fact, that's exactly what happened to us, and I think it was only 24 square feet that we had to reduce our search by. So we want what we want, we have this idea, but we also need to counsel you to kind of be flexible in that regard and help you understand what you can get with what you can afford. And that's very important to avoid massive disappointment in your home search, your property search, and all of that. And a good agent is going to be honest with you about that the whole way through. And that kind of leads into number 4, the lender info. That almost, being number 4, might be a little bit too low, but I think it's very boring to start with, hey, you need to know what you're qualified to buy before you go out looking, because maybe you're just in the information gathering stage. You're trying to figure out what the process looks like. But really, truly, before you go look for property, you want to know what your actual budget is, and not just the number that the bank says you can afford, but what does that look like month to month? What are your monthly payments on these different things? So if you don't have a lender, a good agent will have 1, 2, or 3 lenders that they can refer you to, that you can talk to and go over these things. We can help estimate some things, but it's so personal. We can estimate, but we can't actually get you in the actual spot that you want to be in without talking to a lender. So a good buyer's agent is going to tell you that you need to do some research on the lending side of it, so that we're not going to look at $500,000 properties on a $375,000 budget, because the quality, the things that you can get up here at that range, if you start out looking at that stuff and then all of a sudden the bank comes along and says, well, you're not in a position yet where you can do that kind of thing, you need to be looking down here, it might put a damper on your whole thing, when that $375,000 or $350,000 property might be beautiful, might be wonderful, might have been everything you ever dreamed of before you saw that other one that you couldn't really afford when you were in dreamland. So we want to dream, we want to go after our dreams, but we also want to, back to number 3, make sure it's a reality for us before we get too far and we ruin what could have been a really good thing by casting too far out. So lender info, we have great people that we trust in almost every facet of this business. If you're already working with a lender, no big deal, that's great, that's wonderful. If you trust them, you love them, and they're there to do the right thing for you, then that's exactly what you want on your side. But that is where you need to start as a buyer, where we all need to start as a buyer when we actually get serious and we're going to look at properties. We need to know where we stand with the money, so that when we find the one we love, we can pull the trigger, empty out the purse, do whatever we have to do to get that property that you love. So that is, before we get into the search, the lender really has to be contacted so that you understand what you're looking at. So next would be search, search, search. This is the when we start the work of a buyer's agent. We have your criteria, we have the reality, we have the coin that we're working with, and now we can kind of put all of that into a search. You can send out automatic emails to you if you want. You should get these listings slightly before they even hit Zillow and the rest of them. They come straight to you automatically if that's what you want. And again, we want to be a little bit open with our criteria so we don't miss something, but we search, search, search. Every time the email goes out, it'll ping us as agents, and we should be looking at it and seeing if it's something that you might really like. If it's something that we think you would love, then we need to push it on through. Make sure that you're not only getting the email, but a text message. Hey, did you see this email come through? This one looks hot and perfect for you. I called the other agent already. She said there's 3 showings lined up. So do you want me to line one up for you? Search, search, search. Find a list of properties that you definitely want to go see on your timeline, and that can take a day to find 4 or 5 properties you want to go see. Could take 6 weeks. Who cares? It doesn't matter. We're looking for the one. We are looking for the one, and a lot of controversy over this, I guess, but at least for Ashley and I at Team Black and Gold, we're willing to show you as many properties as necessary. It's a dangerous thing to say. As many properties as necessary so that you find the one that is just perfect, within reason, just perfect for what you're trying to get done. We will work with you, stick with you, encourage you, be there for you the whole time. Search, search, search. We will find what you're looking for and what's possible for you. Absolutely. So when we have this list of properties, maybe we have one list. I don't recommend looking at any more than 3 to 5 properties in a day. After that, they tend to jumble together. You'll forget this, this, and this, and you actually get tired. You get fatigued. It's a little bit frustrating, especially if you're looking with a spouse and you go back and you're like, what was that one? What was this one? No, that was that one. And then here we go. We're going downhill because we looked at 10 properties and we can't remember which ones we liked and didn't like. And so we just throw the baby out with the bathwater. 3 to 5, you can really digest the properties, compare them, go back and forth, figure if there's one that you loved, one that you absolutely did not love. We want to hang on to this one. We want to drop these 2 off the list. We want to make an offer on this one. That's what you can do when you stick it to within 3 to 5 showings. Got off on that tangent. That's okay. That's all part of the searching. The next one, the ones that you're interested in before we go look at all of them, is gathering information as much as we can about the property from public resources, the agents that have them listed. We can call them and ask specific questions. Some agents are more forthcoming than others. Some agents have more permission to share more things from their sellers than others. It's never a guarantee. We have a list of questions that we like to ask depending on the type of property, whether or not we can get the best information. is kind of up to how open the other side's going to be, and that's okay. But we need to ask the questions, gather the information, relay to you what we've learned preliminarily, and most of the time we're going to recommend, no matter what we find out, unless it's catastrophic, devastating, something you don't want to deal with, we're going to recommend, well, there's nothing that compares to a site visit. So this is what we found out about these properties. Let's go look at them and see what you think. And when you say, yes, that's great, let's do it, that's when we will put it on a map, put all the 3 to 5 properties on a map, try to base it off of where you live or work or whatever's going to happen so that it makes sense. You know, if we're going to drive from Centerton to Siloam to Lincoln to Prairie Grove, and you live in Fayetteville, if you're looking all in that circle, and you work over in Rogers, then we're going to want to start up there and come back around and do all that. So we'll put it on a map, try to schedule the showings to match up on a timeline, and if we can do that, it leads to a much smoother experience than in this example, going from you coming from Rogers to Prairie Grove, back up to Centerton, Siloam, skip the other one. I just want to go home now because we're driving all over the place and it's driving me nuts. That is something that we can help you avoid, is scheduling these things while you're at work, while you're busy. If you're out there on your own trying to see properties, instead of seeing 3 to 5, you might make the mistake of going to see 10 of them on open house day, and that even limits, maybe you're not even looking at stuff you actually wanted, or you don't have time to make, so instead of seeing 3 to 5 in a day, you're like, okay, I can see 2 of them, and then another 2, and then here and there, and you're not able to nail anything down. It's either too spread out or it's too all at once, and a good agent can help you schedule all of these things so that you get a good sample size and you don't miss out on the one that you love. That is very, very important. The information gathering, mapping it out so it makes sense, and scheduling the time so that it matches your timeline as best as possible based on whatever's going on in your life, which is probably a lot. Next thing we do, let's say we find that perfect property. You're over the moon. We're excited for you. We're happy for you. You found the one you want. And then we say, okay, well, obviously the price was attractive to you to get you out here to look at it in the first place. But let's go ahead and run comps and make sure that we're not way overpriced, and that maybe there might not be some room to negotiate here. So we'll go home, and let's just say it's a house in a neighborhood, because that would be so easy. We go in and we look, and it's a 3-bedroom, let's make it a 4-bed, 3-bath house, and we run comps, and the rest of the neighborhood is 4-bed, 2-bath, or 3-bed, 2-bath. This one is kind of unique that it has a 3rd bath. Maybe that starts playing around. These other houses are in much better condition, but you love this house. All it needs is maybe some paint, carpet, some baseboards, maybe back doors chewed up by an overly friendly dog that just wants to get in and be with his family all the time. So there's some stuff that this house needs. The comps are all showing maybe they have 1 fewer bedroom, 1 fewer bathroom. The give and take, the work you're going to have to do, we're pretty close. We're in the ballpark because the value is in the eye of the beholder. So maybe we come in at or around asking, depending on how long it's been on the market. If this thing's been on the market for 21 days and normal houses in this neighborhood go under contract in 7 days or less, well, that's an indication that this house, something has either happened in the market, or the market is seeing something in this house that made them not react quite as quickly to this one as it did the other one, knowing that it's probably condition and the market's not really going nuts over the extra bed and bath. Okay, might matter to an appraiser, but does it matter to the market with this kind of data that I'm talking about? Not necessarily. So now we start leaning into, okay, what would be a reasonable offer for this home? So then we start looking for things that are more similar to it, and if we can't find it, now we come back to you and say, they're asking this much, it's been on the market for this long, we might be able to get some off the asking price up front. So what do you want to do that? But that's why we run comps, to make sure the offer is good. And it can go the other way. Let's say it's in just as good a condition as the other houses, and it's a 4-bed, 3-bath. It has that advantage. It has more amenities. It's in as good a condition. They're asking similar asking price. Maybe it's a little bit bigger because of that, so they're asking a little more, but the price per square foot kind of balances out. And we say, look, they did a great job pricing this home. It's taking a little longer to move. We're kind of looking into that, but we don't want to. If you want to come off asking price, if you really want to nail this thing down, we don't want to go too far, because by the numbers, by the looks of it, this looks like a pretty good home. So we're running comps to figure out what our position could possibly be to either tell you, hey, you're good to go, you love this house, it's a fair price, let's write this offer, or hey, you love this house, let's slow down a little bit, it's got some things, and maybe we can get a little bit of a better deal. Do you want to pursue that? And then it's our job to take your answer. If you say, no, I don't want a better deal, I want to buy it for that price, go ahead. If you say, I want to offer more than that, okay, and then we'll talk about it. Or if you say, well, I want to go a little bit under, do you think I'll get it there? And we can say, I don't think you'll get it there. I think they'll probably come back and say no, but if that's what you're comfortable offering, if that's your best offer, if you're okay not getting the deal because of that, then let's rock and roll. Let's see what happens. We are not afraid as agents. A good agent is not afraid to give you counsel that you might contradict, but we'll still go out and execute your decisions, because remember, we're your agent, not your boss. In fact, you're our boss. You tell us what to do. We are here to counsel you, tell you what we see based on experience, based on our research, and based on what we see. We're going to counsel you the best we can. You can take it or leave it. Hopefully you take it, but if you leave it, no hard feelings at all. We'll go ahead and execute what you want, and with the understanding that please don't come back and yell at me or Ashley or your agent if they counseled you one way and the result didn't come out the way you wanted, based on the instructions that you gave the agent after good instruction. I'm not saying that your agent might not give you good instruction. That could happen all the time. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that knows what they're talking about, knows what they're looking at, and at the very least, always has your best interest at heart, because as agents, it is our number one job to put your interests over our own. Okay, so that is bare minimum, square one. You need to make sure you're working with somebody that gives you that. All right, so that is why we run comps, to make sure we're serving you in that way and you are in line with the market, because you don't want to buy something out of line with the market. Nobody does. That's not a good feeling. So next, and we already kind of talked about this, is we need to help you negotiate. And we, like I said, we talked about it a little bit. Everything changes if it's a multiple offer situation. We might run comps and comps are showing lower, but if there's one or two offers on the table already and it's the house you absolutely love, now we're talking about how can we separate our offer from everybody else's. And if there are multiple offers, it means they're probably pretty close on price. So we're going to want to push to whatever we're comfortable with price-wise, and also maybe throw in some terms that would be friendly to the seller that would catch their eye, because if all things are equal on price, the terms are what's going to make the difference. And I'm not going to give it all away here. You'll have to call Ashley and I if you are looking at a situation like this, or you've been in multiple situations and you keep losing the house and you know it's not price and you're like, what is going on, and you just can't figure it out. We can certainly help you with that. We've got many clients over the hump on a multiple offer situation. Doesn't work out every time, but there are things you can do that can definitely make a seller look twice, even if your asking price is a little bit lower than the other guys. Sounds crazy, but it's not all about asking price all the time for sellers. No, it's not. But we are there to help you negotiate there, and even negotiate along the next things, the inspections, the appraisals. At the inspection time, you can ask for repairs, you can ask for credits, you can do all these things. We're here to help you understand what's reasonable to ask for, what's not reasonable, what's a little bit of an overreach, what's likely to lead to the best possible outcome for you as a buyer with this particular seller, kind of based on what we've picked up along the way. We have great home inspectors for you to hire and take their reports, and then we have other people that can follow up the inspector if it needs the roof looked at, or if it needs some handyman work around the house or electrical work. We have fantastic people that we can refer to you and things like that, and their word is better than. So if the inspector points something out and then we have an electrician come and he concurs or denies or whatever the inspector has to say and gives you a report from a professional electrician, it's a whole lot better to supply that to the seller and say, this is what the electrician said, than it is to have me as your agent say, well, the inspector said this, so we think this is what's going on, and it's a horrible deal, and you know, in my unprofessional, non-electrical background opinion, you need to give my buyer this much. Okay, so that's why we do follow-ups with professionals, so that we can help you negotiate the best deal possible. Because the seller is going to look at an electrician's report and more than likely react in a more reasonable way, whatever that is. Maybe they hire their own. We can get into the whole thing, but I'd take all day and we'd go off the rails. So the point is, we need to be able to help you negotiate through the inspection process, not with just some big hammer bludgeoning sellers over the head, but more surgical, more tactical. We need to know how to do it in a way that facilitates a good deal for you and gets sellers to the closing table while getting you some concessions if possible. The appraisal, if you're using a bank, you're probably going to have an appraiser come out and make sure the bank isn't lending on something that isn't worth the contract price. And sometimes these things come up where an appraiser says, I know you're willing to pay $350 for it. That's what the contract price says, but I'm coming in at $330,000 in value. Then what do you do? Well, I can tell you what you do. If you've never been in the arena before, you kind of just ask the seller, like, okay, what do we do now? And the seller says, I'm staying put. I'm not doing anything. And then you're like, well, I don't have $20,000 to make up the difference, so the deal's dead. Or you can go another way. You can have somebody help you negotiate through this, where you challenge it. You see if you can get the bank to come up a little bit, and then maybe negotiate the leftover, maybe get a little bit out of the seller based on the goodwill that you've built up so far. There's a lot of things that you can do, and you're negotiating from point A to point Z when the thing closes, and the appraisal can definitely be part of that. In a great happy world, that never happens. The appraiser comes, puts their stamp of approval on it, the bank's happy, everybody's happy, but you might be surprised, as somebody that buys a home once every 5 or 10 years, maybe 15, how often this comes up and how detrimental it can be to you getting the property that you love if there's an appraisal issue and nobody knows what they're doing as far as handling it goes. Because kicking and screaming and pouting doesn't go very far, I've come to find out in this business. So, okay, inspections, appraisals, and the people, we talked about that. And then number 10, and something that runs through the entire, it's like the golden thread through the whole thing, is counsel to close. There's a lot that comes up for buyers. Stuff that lies dormant somewhere deep in the buyer's soul. They don't even know is there until this huge purchase, this huge life event brings it all to the fore. And sometimes it's hard when you have the lender asking you for 1,000 documents. You have your agent asking you to please open this email and read through this thing and sign it maybe 2 or 3 times that day because it was a busy day. You have title sending you emails asking you for that. There's so much going on, and it's such a big deal in your life. We got to set up utilities. We got to do this. How are we going to get everything moved? Where are we going to put all of our stuff? And the emotions just build and build and build. As your agent, we need to be checking in on you very regularly, asking you how things are going, what can I help with, what can I do for you, where are you at on the process, let me take that off your plate, let me help you with this, hey, I checked on this for you. All these things to help take you from a frazzled 10 to kind of like a buzzing 6 or 7, because you're gonna be amplified during the 30-day, 45-day closing process, let alone the whole time it took you to search, because your hopes and dreams are on the line. And so you need somebody that you can trust that's doing the right thing by you and that knows what they're doing all the way from beginning to end, so that first your dreams and emotions don't run away with you in the first place and you start looking at properties that were never in your reality at this point. And then once you find these properties, we're looking at running those comps to make sure before we ever get into it that it's within that value range, like you're not overpaying, you're not running away, your emotions aren't taking you away. And then when the frustrating things happens, when the seller starts kicking back on negotiations or they're doing things that you're not happy with and you just want to walk away, sometimes it's best to talk to your agent in the evening, calm down a little bit, understand that there are people on the other side too, and maybe they just had a really ugly bad moment and we just need to chill, we need to talk about it, we need to find a reasonable solution. Obviously not going to happen tonight, so let's move it, let's sleep on it, and let's reopen the conversation tomorrow. Rather than losing the home that you loved for you and your family, or the property that represented the dreams that you have for yourself or your family, rather than lose out on that, let's just hang out a day, talk about it tomorrow, and if we're still there, then yeah, maybe we'll do something different. But once again, having seen this over and over and over and over again, when you go on the market as a buyer, if you're out there by yourself, you just don't see these things coming and how much it will affect you. Even when we were buying our home, my mind would invent things that were never going to happen, but when I'm sitting there thinking about it, I wanted everything to work out for my family the way they wanted it to, and I would start thinking, well, what if this comes up? What if that happens? What if that happens? And so I would have to counsel myself. I talked to my broker. I talked to other agents, and they're like, that's crazy. That'll never happen. It helped me come down. So I know if I went through that, and I'm in it every day, many buyers go through it 10 times worse, and we are here to help you with that. So that is a really quick rundown of what a buyer's agent can do for you from my perspective. Hopefully it's a little bit different, a little bit weird from what you've heard before. And before I let you go, just want to remind you, I'm Blake Yount with Team Black and Gold at EXP NWA Branch. I am an executive broker. If you are an agent looking for a place to land, I would love to talk to you about joining our team. If you're a buyer looking for a place to land as well, Ashley or I would love to talk to you about helping you find that place. Or if you're a seller, we can certainly help you get your property on the market and sold in the least amount of time for the most amount of money. And that is all of our passions all wrapped up in one, helping people achieve their goals in the quickest and most convenient way possible. So once again, please refer us out if you have friends or family, even your enemies. And this is Blake Yount with Team Black and Gold, wrapping up episode number 2 of the Black and Gold Show. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.